Hi, my name is Hermione, and I'm from Greece. Please like and subscribe. My dad left before I was born, but I grew up with the most amazing mom, who was a hairdresser at a really fancy salon. But when I was 10, I ran into the salon one day to show Mom my report card while she was working on a beautiful woman. Suddenly, I tripped over something and went flying straight into Mom, who ended up snipping off half the woman's hair. And she went ballistic. "You moron! What have you done? I look like a hideous boy. Oh, I'll make sure you never work in this town again." And before I knew it, Mom was fired. I was really sorry, but she wouldn't hear it. "It was an accident, darling. Don't worry, I'll find another job." But the woman wasn't kidding. Mom couldn't get a job anywhere in town as a hairdresser. And soon enough, we were too broke to even make rent. Then one day, Mom said she'd talked to her older sister and we'd be moving to another town to live with her. I'd never met this aunt before, and when we got to her house, my jaw dropped. Her mansion looked as big as the Parthenon. As a maid let us in, a plump woman dressed in expensive clothes walked into the hall. My aunt! I rushed forward to hug her, but she stopped me. "What are you doing? Don't touch me. Just do a curtsy." Who was she? The freaking wife of Zeus? Just then, a pretty girl about my age came running in, and she stomped on my foot. "You're ugly. I can't believe you're my cousin." Wow, I had to live with these people now? Of all the rooms in the mansion, Aunt gave me and my mom the dusty old attic to share. And at dinner time, I could feel her eyes on me as I helped myself to more food. She seemed to be the cheapest millionaire ever. But I promised I'd behave well and not cause Mom any trouble, which was easier said than done. My cousin Lydia was a year older than me, and I soon discovered that Aunt was obsessed with making her a model. One day, I found Lydia balancing a pile of books on her head, while her trainer screamed at her to walk straight without dropping them. The very next second, they all came crashing. "Lydia, you have no balance, no grace. How will you be a model? You, skinny girl, come try this." To my surprise, I walked across the room with the books easily. Lydia angrily tried again, and this time, she went crashing into a very expensive vase. "Mom, look what Hermione did!" "What?" Aunt came charging into the room like an angry bull, and no matter how much I protested, she wouldn't hear a word. And she actually took money from Mom to pay for it, which was her 2 months' salary. Gosh, Aunt was such a witch. Soon after, Mom got me enrolled in the same school as Lydia. On the very first day, I'd just sat down at the cafeteria, where she and her friends joined me. "We thought we'd give you company. You've clearly made no friends." "I'm fine, actually." "So, Lydia tells us you're her maid's daughter? It's so amazing that her mom is paying for your school." "What? No, she's not. My mom is..." "Ew, your mom packed you meatballs for lunch? So uncool. We only eat salads." "Well, I guess you have to watch what you're eating." Suddenly, Lydia leapt forward angrily and rubbed my lunch all over my face. "Did you just call me fat? Call me that again? And I will end you." With that, she and her friends walked away. I wanted to kick her butt so bad, but I didn't want to get into trouble. I just tried to keep my head down and focus on my studies. But Lydia and her friends would find some way to bully me. And it didn't help that I looked really bad in Lydia's oversized hand-me-downs. When Lydia's 15th birthday came around, Aunt threw her a huge birthday bash. And even though she had tons of servants, she made me slave away in the kitchen too. I finally managed to escape and snuck up to the table with a plate. Just then, Lydia came running and snatched it. "What do you think you're doing?" "Are you stupid? I'm about to eat, so give that back." "No, it's my birthday and I decide who eats, and you can't." "Oh yes, I will. What you gonna do? Go crying to Mommy, you big baby?" "What did you just call me?" "I said, you're a big baby." With that, I grabbed a chunk of cake and threw it at her face. She pounced on me and we went crashing straight into the food table. As we threw food at each other, Lydia's friends also joined in and a food fight broke out. When Aunt arrived at the scene, she started screaming like a maniac and all the kids fled, while Lydia burst into tears that her birthday was ruined. And then Aunt turned to me. You clean up this mess right now, or I'll throw you and your mother out tonight." "Do what you like, you miserable creature. I'm not cleaning." I grabbed some food, dashed to my room, and locked myself up. Oh God, what had I just done? A few hours passed and no one came to my room. I was beginning to get worried why Mom wasn't home yet, so I snuck down quietly to find her wiping the walls and floors clean. Mom, why are you doing that? I'm really sorry. I'll do it. It's okay, Hermione. I feel awful that you have to live here because I can't afford a place. I promise, someday we'll leave, but we can't just yet. You don't have to feel bad about anything. I'll be good. I'll even say sorry to Aunt. But I don't understand how you two are even related. We never got along, even as kids. She always wanted to have everything I had. Now she has so much more, and she's still a witch. We both burst out laughing as we cleaned the mess. I'd put up with anything as long as I had Mom by my side. But after the birthday, Lydia and her friends were being a lot meaner at school. One day during recess, she and her friends started hounding me in the corner. Hey, Twiggy, you're light as a stick, I'm sure. Oh, she is. Why don't you go see for yourself? Suddenly, the guy just picked me up as I kicked and screamed. Let me go! Put me down right now! But they threw me in the janitor's closet and locked it. Just then, I heard them all running off, and seconds later, the principal opened the door. He'd seen everything, and he punished the bullies by suspending them for a week. And when I got home, who was Aunt furious at? Me! It's your fault my darling was suspended. She's just a kid, and she's never been punished for anything in her life. I'm a kid too, and she got punished for bullying me. Well, if she's getting punished, you will too. You'll serve all the guests at my party tomorrow, or else. I didn't want Mom to suffer again, so I kept my mouth shut. Aunt's party was full of super rich friends, and I was busy serving them when a lady caught up with me. Hi, you're really pretty. Are you interested in modeling? Before I could answer, Aunt interrupted. Her? A model? No. She's just a maid. Don't waste your time on her. But you're naturally built for a model. You're perfect. I can see you being Miss World, I tell you. Turns out the lady was the owner of a big fashion magazine, and she wanted to have me as her cover page model. What? That was supposed to be Lydia, not this stupid maid. Well, darling, I'm sorry. Lydia isn't fit for my magazine. Aunt went totally bonkers. She grabbed the woman's drink and threw it in her face. Then she started screaming at everyone. Party's over. Everyone, get out. And you're grounded. But when I told Mom later all about it, she was so excited. She insisted we'd go together to meet this woman. We went to the lady's office the very next day, and she was really happy that I showed up. She immediately signed me up for a big magazine shoot. I woke up super pumped on the day, but seconds later, I was screaming at my reflection, that which Lydia had chopped off my hair in my sleep. I looked terrible, but Mom came to the rescue. She gave me a beautiful pixie cut, and the magazine lady absolutely loved it. And I totally nailed the shoot. Everyone thought I was a natural. Within the next 6 months, I was on lots of magazine covers and billboards, and suddenly, things at school changed too. I was no longer the skinny kid with hand-me-downs. I was the popular model kid now, with a wardrobe that fit me just right. And the best part was watching Lydia burn. A few weeks later, there was a fashion show at school, and Lydia immediately signed up for it too. On the day of the event, I decided to take a quick shower in the gym before getting ready. But as I stepped out, I saw to my horror that Lydia had gathered all my clothes, and she just grinned at me and she walked out. Oh my God, what was I gonna do without any clothes? I looked around and the only thing I saw were the curtains. I quickly pulled them down and made them into a dress with safety pins, and it didn't look half bad. Lydia looked shocked when I walked down the ramp in my curtain dress and blew her a kiss. When I was announced as the winner, she went insane. She literally jumped on me, trying to snatch the trophy away. She would have poked my eye out if some teachers hadn't rescued me. That night, I was walking down to the kitchen when I heard Lydia and Aunt talking about me. Just make her go away, Mom. I can't stand her anymore. She's ruining my life. Okay, baby. I'll get rid of her somehow. You know, I got rid of her father too a long time ago. Wait, what? Got rid of my father? Is that what you just said? What are you doing here? Can't I have some privacy in my own house? Just shut up and tell me what you meant about Dad. Yes, I got rid of him. After my stupid husband left me, I fell in love with your father, but he fell head over heels in love with your stupid mom. I couldn't stand it. So I convinced him that your mom was pregnant with someone else's child and he left. If I couldn't have him, no one could. While I stared at her speechless, I heard Mom behind me. How could you do this to me? All these years, I thought it was him, but it was actually you. Are you completely crazy? Why should you have everything? You didn't deserve him anyway. I would have given him the world. But before she could finish, Mom leapt forward and slapped her hard. You've had this coming for a long time. Come, Hermione. We aren't staying here another minute. We packed our bags and checked into a hotel for a few days. We decided that the first thing we had to do was track down Dad. Mom started calling up their mutual contacts, and luckily, we found out soon that Dad lived in another city now, and that he owned $1 million company. My dad was a millionaire? The very next day, we flew over and showed up at his company. Mom asked me to wait outside while she went to talk to him in his office. After we moved in with Dad, I planned a wedding for my parents because they never got the chance earlier. I decided to personally invite Aunt, so I went to her place. Come begging for a place to stay again, haven't you? I handed her the wedding card. I'm rich enough to buy your house now, but that's not why I'm here. The wedding is next week. You and your daughter can come to witness that true love can't be separated, but evil people always end up alone in a big house. You are the best example. I walked out and I never saw her again. I was my mom's bridesmaid at the wedding, and it was the happiest moment of my life to see her get everything she truly deserved. And now I'm living my best life with my family.
Hi, I'm Jane, and I'm from New York City. And this is my story of how being short, like really short, leads me to have a unique, crazy life. So, I had a really crazy mother who was mad about shopping. Shoes, clothes, makeup, perfumes. She stopped at nothing. One day, when I was 2 years old, she left me at the mall because her hands were full of bags.
Where's Jane?
What?
You took Jane with you while shopping, right? Where is she?
Oh, my hands were full of bags. I might have just left her at the mall. Plus, she's too tiny and short for her age, so it's easy to forget her. Short and ugly. I wonder who she looks like. My dad was furious.
I already knew your shopping was a problem, but this is the last straw!
So he took me and left Mom for good. For a while, Dad and I lived happily in a small apartment. But when I was 8, Dad discovered that he didn't have much time to live, so he decided to leave me with his first wife. He took me to her huge mansion, hugged me really tightly, and left, and I never saw Dad again. Dad's first wife didn't have any children of her own. She was always dressed in black and never smiled. She looked just like a creepy widow. So I started calling her the widow. But there was no denying that the widow was rich. Practically everything in her house was made of gold, even the spoons. On the first day of my new school, the widow sent me off to school in a limo. And at school, the widow had the butler distribute free ice cream for a month so everyone would be nice to me. At first, it was crazy fun. But on my 10th birthday, even though I was surrounded by friends, I broke down into tears. I missed my parents so much. And then I noticed that no one brought any gifts for me. When I asked them why, some boy yelled, "Because we don't like you, you dwarf, and your breath smells bad." Suddenly, the widow showed up from behind him and put her hand on his mouth and dragged him away. What was going on? So, everyone in school liked me only because of the widow's money? One day, when my so-called best friend announced,
"Hey girls, let's go get some ice cream. Jane's buying."
I lost my cool.
"No, I'm not. You want it? Go get it yourself. I'm not your debit card." "Look at this dwarf being so mean. It's not even your money, Jane. You're a charity case."
They all angrily marched away, and after that, I was a loner. Not only that, it was really annoying that I never got picked during gym class, and I really wanted to play basketball. So one day, in 6th grade, I ran straight onto the court, snatched the ball from another kid, and started dribbling it away. I was small, but fast. Just then, the substitute gym teacher came running onto the court, blowing his whistle furiously. And next thing I knew, he had picked me up and was carrying me away.
"We have a kindergartner on the loose! Don't you know you could seriously get hurt, kid?"
He just wouldn't listen and took me to the principal. He sure looked dumb when the principal told him I was in the 6th grade. But I was still banned from playing. It was too dangerous for me. One day, when I was in 9th grade, right before my exam was about to start, my teacher came up to me and put her hand on my forehead. "Jane, dear, your mom said you aren't feeling well today. You can go home and rest." "But I'm not sick." "Yes, you are, sweetie. You have a horrible fever." And the teacher just dragged me out of the room. After the exams, when I looked at my report card, I was shocked. I got an A+ on an exam I didn't even write, and all the rest as well. The widow then threw a fancy party where she literally distributed money. Worst of all, the party was full of my teachers. Ugh, talk about boring. The only person at the party my age was Andrew from school, the son of one of the teachers. I always had a crush on him, and now he was making his way to me. My heart began to beat like crazy. I do, Andrew, I do. How does it feel to take something you don't deserve, just because you have money? Huh? What do you mean? Oh, come on. Everyone in class already guessed your mother bought those fake grades for you. Aren't you ashamed? How could you have possibly topped when everyone knows I'm the smartest? I never asked her to do it. She's not even my mom. It's not my fault. Yeah, your grades are better than your height. Dwarves can't be the smartest. I stood there, shocked, and I decided it was time for me to tell the widow to change. But she said that she didn't mean any harm. She just wanted to help me get into some college, as it was my dad's last wish. I begged her to let me do it on my own. Eventually, she agreed. Sadly, that didn't pan out as I'd planned. I wasn't doing well in school at all. And without the widow's money, the teachers weren't so nice anymore. Why is your handwriting so big when you're so short? Are you so bad at math because it's hard to understand things with your teeny tiny brain? I flunked horribly and was held back a grade. My ex-best friend smirked and said, "Keep flunking and you'll finally reach a grade that suits your height. Can you just leave me alone?" Oh, I heard wearing a pink hat while studying helps your brain work because the brain likes the color pink. I tried it, but it didn't work. Guess I'm already a genius. Or that you don't have a brain. As I left for home that day, with angry tears in my eyes, I ran straight into someone. Andrew. Hey, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Listen, just back off. I have enough troubles without you. But Andrew did not back off. The next few days, he really started chasing me all over school. There was just no escaping him. Wherever I went, there he was. What's wrong with you? I'm trying to study. Stop stalking me. I'm just worried about you. Let me help you with your grades. Why? I appreciate it, but you really don't have to feel sorry for me. I don't feel sorry. I understand you want to rely on yourself, and I respect that. I'm just offering to help, and also trying to make up for being a jerk. Well, I knew he was a math whiz. If anyone could help me, it was him. From that day onwards, every night, he snuck in from my window to help me study. But he was so distractingly cute and funny. We were becoming super close. The night before the exam, the door flew open and the widow barged in. She started yelling at me. "Boys ruin everything. This is probably why you don't get good grades. You're so distracted all the time." Then she dragged him to the window and told him to leave the way he came. He isn't my boyfriend. He's my private teacher. He's helping me with math. But she wasn't listening. So Andrew climbed down the tree outside the window and left. The next day, I passed the exam and was over the moon. I ran to him and threw my arms around him. I did it! I passed the math exam on my own! Then, before I knew what I was doing, I kissed him. And what an utterly stupid thing to do that was! Because the minute our lips touched, he froze. I was so embarrassed. I let him go and stepped back. I'm so sorry. Jane, I had no idea that you felt this way about me. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong idea, but I was just looking out for you. You know, like a little sister. You're just not my type. Wait, what? I never felt so humiliated in my entire life. Without another word, I just turned around and fled. And that was my real first heartbreak. I refused to go down for dinner that evening and shut myself up in my room. A little later, the widow knocked and came in. "Do you want to tell me what's wrong, Jane?" I burst into tears and told her everything. "You were right. Boys ruin everything. From now on, I'm just going to focus on me. I'm going to get a university scholarship and leave this stupid place." And for the first time ever, the widow hugged me. It was really awkward, but also kind of nice. "I'll send you to any university you want. You just focus on studying really hard." And that's what I did. I really focused on my lessons. And at home, the widow started to help me out too. She also had her chef make me really healthy food and gave me multivitamins regularly. She helped me out with all my college applications, and for the first time since Dad, I felt like I did have a parent. As I was about to graduate high school, our student counselor called me one day to her office to give me some really amazing news. "You got into your dream university, Jane! Congratulations!" I squealed in excitement and hugged her. In my excitement, I knocked over my bag, and my bottle of vitamins fell out. Just then, the counselor picked up one of the pills, looking confused. "Jane, why are you eating these?" Oh, they're just multivitamins. No, they're not, Jane. These pills are given to kids with ADHD to improve focus. No one should be taking these unless a doctor prescribes them. I couldn't believe it. Why would the widow do this? I rushed home and barged straight into her room, throwing the pills on her bed. Why have you been lying to me that these are vitamins? Why are you feeding me pills I don't need? Are you trying to poison me? The widow looked stunned. Then she said, Jane, just let me explain. I was only trying to help you get better. Oh, so you thought I'm so dumb that I needed pills to make me smarter? I only want what's best for you, Jane. That's all I ever wanted. And then I said the words I would regret for the rest of my life. Well, in case you forgot, let me remind you, you're not my mom. You're just a pathetic old widow, and you don't deserve to have kids. And with that, I stormed off to my room. I didn't speak a word to her for the next few weeks, and then I left for university. I felt bad for the things I'd said, but I was too angry to take them back. I was doing really well at university. I met a wonderful guy, Dave. He was the only person I'd ever met who didn't treat me like I was dumb, and he never made me feel little in any way. One day, while we were on a date, I got a terrible phone call. It was a doctor from some hospital saying the widow had been found unconscious in her home and was really unwell. Dave drove me straight to the hospital, and when I went to her, it broke my heart seeing her so pale and weak. I sat down by her and started to cry. Please be okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean those awful things I said. I love you. You're my mom. Just then, her eyes fluttered open. She gave me a weak smile. Jane, I'm so glad you're here, dear. I'm sorry, too. You were always so tiny. I became really overprotective. I see now that you didn't need that at all. I moved back with Mom to take care of her, and soon she fully recovered. I graduated with honors from university, and I was so happy she could be there. After university, Dave and I got married and had 2 beautiful kids together. We named our son after my dad, and our little girl after the widow.